Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Union County Public Schools Finance Committee meeting. Today is October 21st, 2025. It is 8:03, and I call this meeting to order. Need approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is I need an approval of the minutes from our September 23rd, 2025 meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
First on the agenda is 2025, 2026 budget update. Ms. McLam.
Good morning. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So I just wanted to take a minute this morning and go through some of where we are in our budget process, as well as some of the items that maybe we requested last year, and give you all an update. So just to remind everybody, in this current school year, we are operating on a continuation budget from the state. The state budget allowed and authorized school districts and other state agencies to operate from July 1 of 2025 based on their 2024-25 funding levels. In July, late July, the General Assembly passed a mini bill that authorized some additional changes to that continuation budget. And some of the things that they authorized were teacher, assistant principals, and other staff, anybody on a state salary schedule, they were authorized to get their step increase for year of experience. There were no other raises included in the General Assembly's mini bill. They did authorize enrollment changes for K-12. So any increases in enrollment, they did authorize DPI to provide increases in funding for those enrollment changes. There was money allocated for the implementation in the final round of Infinite Campus. And then there were additional lottery funds that were proposed to provide school construction. The impact of any of that continuation budget and the mini bill on our local budget was really related to mandated increases, any step increases for any of our staff that are on state salary schedules. So I have looked, I have done the calculations, and right now with step increases and the mandatory retirement increase that we had to provide to all employees, as well as the hospital insurance contributions, we're looking at of our local dollars that we requested 1.7 million, a little over $1.7 million that needed to be allocated to address those increases. So just to remind and bring everybody back to what our local budget was, what the Board of Education submitted it for approval to the county commissioners. We originally submitted a request for an increase of $14.6 million. That request what included sustaining operational items such as contract services, utilities, insurance increases, other items that we needed for operational. Plus, it included any increases that we wanted to do for compensation, as well as charter school increases. Union County Board of Commissioners approving an increase of $8.8 million, which was 5.8 less than what we originally asked for. So we took the dollars that we received and we made allocations based on the funding that we received. We did have to address those mandated increases, and one of the changes that was most significant is related to our charter school payments. Charter school payments, we had anticipated an $850,000 increase to our charter school payments, so that's what we included in our budget ask, or just part of the allocations that we do in our local budget process. That increase, that has increased to an additional $1.5 million. So we needed additional funds to address some of the increases in charter school enrollment, as well as decreases in our local enrollment here in the district. So that has, all of those items have been allocated. We've addressed all of our mandated and any other potential requested items, and it left a remaining from that 8.8 of right at $2.7 million. So those funds are what we have available to address any outstanding compensation items or items that the board, is looking for us to implement. Do we have any questions
So
about?
Shauna, this
budget
item's gotten
update?
a lot of attention. Yeah, so Shauna, this item's gotten a lot of attention in the media and the social media. There's been a lot of untrue statements shared. Some of the narratives relate to UCPS and this board not caring for our teachers. I personally think this is furthest from the truth. I'd like, if Dr. Houlihan, I believe, is on, would you please share some facts and maybe the position of UCPS regarding how we've gotten where we're at today?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So as you heard from Ms. McLam in the budget overview, the Board of Education in May requested a local budget increase of a little bit over $14 million. Included in that request was a $2,000 supplement increase for all teachers and those that are on the certified teacher salary schedule. In June of 2025, the Board of County Commissioners approved a local budget increase for $8.8 million, which is obviously less than what the board had asked for. There was, I believe, a budget hearing on June 2nd. Reverend Benchen attended, Ms. McLam attended, and spoke to the Board of County Commissioners on this matter. And during that meeting, it was stated, and as stated in the letter that we received from the Board of County Commissioner Chair on Friday, a few weeks ago, it was understood that UCPS would not be receiving the full funding for the $2,000 supplement increase. So as we started the school year, we decided to pause on any increases related to this matter because we were very concerned about some uncertainty with at the state level in terms of their budget. During this time, as we started the school year, we also began meeting with a significant number of stakeholder groups, our teacher advisory, principal advisory, parent advisory, and Ms. McLam, as she always does in years past, gives a budget update to these entities at a very high level, which included where we were on the teacher supplement increase. On sometime around the beginning of October, the chair of the county commissioner reached out to me asking for some clarification regarding the implementation of the supplement increase. She had received some information that was inaccurate from one of our stakeholders. I explained that information she received was not correct and that we would work to clarify that misunderstanding. I also informed her that because of the uncertainty at the state level, we were delaying the implementation of the budget process or of the teacher supplement increase, and that ultimately we would be coming to the board for approval for that recommendation when that uncertainty kind of subsided. After we researched the information she received, we did confirm that was isolated to one individual school and not necessarily a district communication. There was no information communicated at the district level to all employees regarding this matter. And then on Friday, October the 10th, the board received the letter from her as the chair of the Board of County Commissioners. So we always had a plan to come forward to you all with a recommendation. That was never in question. We wanted to wait a little bit longer until the uncertainty of the budget became less of a concern. Today, you're going to hear what that recommendation is. It's based on available funding that we have. The teacher supplement has always been the #1 priority of the board and staff. And I want it to be very clear. To date, I, as superintendent, have never received any communication from any current employee about this matter. I've not received any concerns on this matter, and I've not had any teacher or any other employee reach out to me sharing those concerns. So we're pleased today. We apologize for the delay of the implementation of this, but we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to receive any additional mandates that were not budgeted for due to the state budget. But That has passed, and we're here today with a recommendation.
Are there any questions for Dr. Houlihan or Shauna regarding the budget update?
Dr. Houlihan, if you could just
Can I say something?
go into a little bit more detail about the investment in our people and what the original request was and how that was to be allocated.
Yeah, so I believe the original request included was for a $2,000 teacher supplement increase. And as Ms. McLam presented today, we were not fully funded. That request was not fully funded for us by the Board of County Commissioners. We compete every year with the teacher supplements, with surrounding districts, with the state of South Carolina. This is a huge priority for us. That has been a priority for the board for many, many years, at least every year I've been your superintendent. And that will continue to be as we remain competitive. But the $2,000 that I believe was requested and that employees may think is going to be allocated, we simply were not fully funded for that request.
But
Ms.
so Ms. McLam, is there a little bit more detail that you can give around that? Like for the 11 million that was requested, of course, there was the 2,000 teacher supplement, but there's other investments that are obligated to us as well, right?
Yes.
So a little bit more detail, maybe?
So there were other categories of staff that we had included in compensation market study adjustments. Did include our teacher assistants and our skilled trades areas that are in transportation and facilities. We do compete locally as well as with other districts for those skilled trades areas, and really trying to as well compete with trying to, we have a lot of vacancies in other areas that we always try to look at on an annual basis to ensure we remain competitive. And the TAs, excuse me, the TAs were one of those categories as well.
Can we go back to the facts, okay? A little bit. Usually, the BOC would tell us if they have something on their agenda, like UCPS is coming, so we can talk to the BOCs. That didn't happen. The chair of the BOCC did not have an item with the UCPS until 45 minutes into the BOC meeting. Usually we would look at the agenda, and if there is an item, someone on the board or staff would go to the meeting. The chair knew that she was going to amend the agenda to include UCPS supplements at the end of the meeting under budget. I'm disappointed that UCPS didn't take the time to respond to the BOC chair's questions. Thank you.
Chairman
I have a
Benson,
question. I'm sorry, off of
Okay,
what
Ms.
Mr. Morial
Ms. May,
asked.
go ahead.
Okay. As far as the skilled worker category, I mean, what we had wanted to pay them was what percent?
We had included in the skilled trades an additional 3%. When we built the budget last year, we also included and anticipated a state raise as well. So a state increase somewhere in the neighborhood of 3%, and then a local increase for those categories as well at 3%. So that was the original budget ask and included in that request.
So that the skilled workers, which is comparable to the county positions, would have then been getting 6%?
If the state had done a 3% increase, yes.
Okay. But they didn't.
No one got any increase this year.
Okay.
Yeah, if you were on a certified scale and there was something attached to your step, that's the only increase that's been implemented.
Okay. And I guess just to piggyback off of what Ms. Heintel was saying, it always did feel like we had a very good working relationship with the BOCC. I mean, 3 of the members
on that board served on the Board of Education for 8 years each. And so for none of them to have reached out to any of us prior to their meeting to try to talk through this or find out, facts was very disappointing. It doesn't feel like we have any sort of working relationship moving forward because of how they proceeded. Thanks.
Ms. McLam, one more question around the investment in our people. There was also kind of a countywide initiative around school nurses as well, right? And some focus around EC. Can you go into a little bit more detail about those and how those pulled some of the allocated funds?
Yes, so we did implement and we're working to implement year one of a 5-year plan to add 2 school nurses so that we would have a school nurse in every building, similar to what we've done with SROs. When we started the school year, we were adding two school nurses this school year. We've had some additional needs related to our exceptional children's program that has advanced us having to hire some additional nurses. We've hired 1 additional nurse to make it 3 nurses this school year and looking at potentially a 4th. Due to having some individual needs of students that require a full-time nurse to be in the building, in the school building. So that has had to shift some of the funding as well, that we've had to make those adjustments in our budget ask. So from proposed that we work on in April, May to actual implementation and allocation, that's another item that has changed.
Thank you. And I wanted to go into a little bit more detail. So as Ms. May mentioned, like 3 of the 5 BOCC members were past BOE members. We are a very conservative board. Dr. Houlihan knows that we tighten the screws on every single request. If a new program comes up, something has to go. We're very frugal with our funding requests. I just want them to remove the selective amnesia that they've had from the past and understand that we go through a lot of scrutiny before we present this budget to you. And these are required requests. So we have to figure a way in the future to increase our funding percentage as the demands continue to go up on our school district, the mandates continue to go up. EC has been a lot of focus lately. These are requirements that we have to fund. So, again, just the messaging that a lot of scrutiny goes into this. There's a lot of COLA adjustments that are in our budget. Like, these are not just random increases that we come to the board with, and we need to have a focus to pay our teachers. If we're not getting it from the state, we have to figure out how to do this locally. So I have to reiterate that messaging. Again, trying to trigger some memory of the past for our BOCC members, and hope this message is heard. Thank you.
Can I ask one more question following off of that? The last time that we did a teacher supplement increase was 23-24?
No, we did one in 24-25. They got 1,050. We did that from finding it within our own funds and doing, if Dr. Houlihan wants to share, doing some redirects.
Yeah, I was just going to remind, last year's budget, we did not bring any redirects to the board for approval because we could not find any. As Mr. Morial said, we review all of our programs, our staffing allotments, et cetera, every year. And we're going to continue to do that this year. 2 years ago, when we brought a recommendation, we redirected almost $4 million of local funding in order to pay for the teacher supplement. That is not a sustainable way to increase teacher supplement increases ever. We just don't have the funding to redirect that amount of money every year. So it's going to take something to change at the county level in order to generate the funds to come to us to sustain what we're currently doing and or remain competitive. But The primary reason why we were able to give a supplement increase last year was because we cut $4 million from our own budget to redirect to go to our teachers.
And I'll remind everybody that when we had our audit presentation, our fund balance is actually below where it should be for a school district our size. So as we continue to go back and look at the budget and try to find other ways to fund this, there are no funds available. And again, we're not increasing fund balance to try to get it to the recommended allotment. So we're still at risk in that category.
So I'm not sure if you all are ready for me to, I've got additional slides for my presentation.
Shauna, before we go forward, I think Chairman Jimmy Benson has a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greatly appreciate you inviting me in today. Thank God for each and every one of you fellow board members on the Finance Committee, as well as Dr. Houlihan and Ms. McLam. Over the last few weeks, there is no doubt that there's been some attention brought to us. A couple of my other colleagues have already addressed the concerns that they've had with the presentation from the Board of County Commissioners. One of the reasons that I did not go out and create additional rhetoric to that situation was simply because I knew the facts and I knew what was out there was incorrect. There came a time when it became time to speak, and I want to thank our great media department for putting all that together. And so we went about doing several interviews, expressing concerns on the why. You've heard that again today. You've heard from our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. McLam, sharing her methodology. And you heard from our great superintendent, Dr. Houlihan, breaking down the timelines of which. One of the things that I personally, again, each and every member speaks on their own accord, but as the chairman of this Union County Board of Education, we in fact work and has worked well with our Board of County Commissioners. We've had some things in the past boards, but overall, and it was never my intention to allow this to create a us and them mentality. So to the chair of the Union County Board of Commissioners and the vice chairman and the other members, we are not desiring an advantageous relationship with you. What we are desirous of, and as my colleagues have already stated, to this date, I've never received a call from the chair of the Board of County Commissioners. And a simple phone call would have put this situation, this conversation, what was heard in proper perspective. There was some inaccurate information that went out, but no member of this board, no member of the Union County Board of Education has ever declared that our great county commissioners did not give us funding. They did not approve our budget request. No, they did not. They did not approve our 14 million plus, but they did fund us what they felt that they could give us. And it is with those funds that our Chief Financial Officer and Dr. Houlihan and their team goes to work. As Mr. Moriel pointed out, our concern is always to take care of our teachers, but not only our teachers. Team UCPS is not made up of just teachers. We have workers in a plethora of other positions that allow the teachers to do what they need to do, that they also have to be taken care of. But we also know that school systems are judged on the grades of our children, and we know at the heart of that is our teachers. So we care greatly for them. And so I hope that what you've seen today, what you heard from our chief financial officer, from our superintendent, will go a long way in putting to bed that there is a lack of caring from this board concerning teachers. You don't get to be where we are unless you care about our teachers as well as all of our other employees. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me this space, and I greatly appreciate it. And again, I hope that all will see that the Union County Board of Education here in North Carolina cares deeply, and we look forward to assisting and providing our teachers to the best of our ability. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Benson. Any other comments from board members? Hearing none, we'll move to the next item, 2025-26 salary supplement recommendation.
Okay, so, what I'm about to present to you
Yes.
is our recommendation for our teacher supplement increase for 25-26. Based on current available funding, we're proposing an increase that would be implemented in November in their November check forward that would be retroactive to July of 2025. The proposed increase would be $1,000 annually, which would be an additional $100 a month for our teachers. That total request to provide that increase would be $3.8 million. We have about 2,895 employees that are currently on that salary supplement schedule. That's who would be receiving those increases if you all approve. I have included a list of some of the eligible staff because we do get a lot of questions about who's included on that supplement schedule. So I have included them as well in the presentation. That's the full presentation for you all for consideration, discussion, and approval.
Mr. Chairman, if you were speaking, Todd, you were muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry, any questions from the board members? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to send the 25-26 salary supplement recommendation to consent agenda for approval by the full board at our November 6, 2025 Board of Education meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Closing comments, any closing comments from board members?
I would like to add that both the chair of the BOCC and vice chair publicly stated that if the state does come back with a budget later on in the year, I'm hearing March, that all we have to do is come back and ask them for more money because that's what they're there for. So I'm hoping that that stands true. And if that's the case, that's what we do moving forward.
Thank you, Ms. May. Our next scheduled board meeting is November 25th, 2025, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank
You
you.
too.